Hi guys, this is day number 137 of my 365 livestream challenge, and we keep going with Software Startup Workshop September series. And today we are still on the fourth last stage of our Software Startup Workshop. Specifically, we are in the middle here, WBS, which stands for Work Breakdown Structure. At this point, we did technical oversight and user specifications in the format of user stories. So now it's all we need to start breaking these specifications into smaller tasks for the developers so they can estimate this afterwards. And with that we can have, and the next step after we define the technology, because technology also defines the estimates, influences the estimates, the budgets, the timeline. After that we are ready to do the estimates. So work breakdown structure is a list of tasks that we need to do with assigned hours, and which will give us the next step, which will allow us to do the next step, which is basically estimate the project and the efforts. So how does that look like? I prepared here. So basically we're getting these user stories, epics and user stories, each of them, and move them to our estimation spreadsheet. We keep this as a Google spreadsheet document, and here we have such a table with tons of tasks. First of all, we copy from user stories, as already mentioned, plus we add some internal things here. How does that work? What's the format? So we have groups of bigger groups of tasks like epics and some internal milestones. Then we have, for each of them, we have list of smaller user stories, and within user stories we can breaking them down into smaller tasks. At the point when we had just user stories, it was enough to outline the task from the user perspective. But now when developers have to estimate, now they also think about what kind of database structure we'll need for that, what kind of API integration. So we are breaking down also, if we are going to develop a project as a single page application, in that case we estimate separate the front end, like React.js application efforts, and backend database plus REST API based on Django or REST API framework. So sometimes we'll break down each task into front end separately to estimate a couple hours, and back end as well. And that's why we have this third level, nested level of task here, which are kind of allowing us to understand the efforts on the technical level, how much code we'll have to write for backend, front end, database, and everything. So it's like structure is very similar to user stories, but it has more more levels to it, deeper, and plus some extra tasks. So we have this list of tasks here, and then we have two columns, which is hours of efforts, minimum and maximum. Yes, for our workshop, we still estimate in range. Usually that range is much smaller than just ballpark number after initial consultation, like 2 hours consultation. But still we have some range here, because it's always hard. If client needs fixed price, we will commit or guarantee only maximum range, pessimistic, right? So if the client is flexible, doesn't want to put like specification into stone during the development, and instead they are flexible, like 30% of the scope, with 30% of the scope to go a bit more complex feature or make it smaller. So in that case we just fly in between minimum and maximum ranges. And this kind of range estimation approach gives more freedom to developers, so the end result from the estimation is of higher quality, so they are not so restricted and anxious about wrong estimate. They have some freedom to fly, so optimistic might be sometimes twice smaller than pessimistic, or they might be pretty close for smaller tasks and non-risky tasks. So we have these two columns, and for each task we just estimate amount of hours, and then we have total for the epic or for the group of tasks, and then we have total for the whole project. You can see here we've been depending on a couple of APIs. That's why we have pretty big range. Usually our range is smaller for projects that are easier to estimate, to predict, because the technical oversight showed us there's no so many technical risks. In that case we can have our estimate is very close, maximum to minimum. And this is how we go over whole work breakdown structure. Parents calendar will take this amount of hours, calendar synchronization will take this amount of hours, friends management this amount of hours, hours, kids management, functionality, social feed, wish list function, just 12 hours, blogs and news, 10 to 20 hours, because it was pretty undefined, but we just put the placeholders, so that's why ballpark, like kind of ballpark numbers, and that's why range is so big here, twice bigger than minimum. And yeah, and so many different things. Plus, we add here some internal things. Also, we have theming and styling. We went for custom design, which took like just more than 1 month of work just for the design. Then we have API integrations, internal tech, etc. And then finally, we have some internal things like DevOps administration, like basically setting up the project itself, server boilerplate, put it all on demo, staging, and then on production. So it's all, yes, it's all included here within our estimate. And also, usually we put extra 10% for the project management and extra 10% for the quality assurance for the manual testing, so that because it also requires quite some efforts on our side. That's why when it comes to the final estimates that we will consider in a one after tomorrow, I will show you this as well. So work breakdown structure looks like this. This is something that our developers would spend at least 2 days of work for smaller projects, and it might be a couple of weeks just for this step for bigger projects. And with that information, we are ready to jump to time and cost estimation, and that will I show you on the next one of the next live streams. Tomorrow we'll talk about technology stack, and the day after that it will be the final estimates plus the format how we deliver the software starter workshop and what next step we suggest to our clients to do after workshop, depending on the workshop results. So yeah, this is it. If you have any question regarding this work breakdown structure step we are doing with our developers for our clients on our workshop, please comment below this live stream. Thank you for watching. See you tomorrow.